So, we're getting into what we've been waiting for, the readings. So,
We've been waiting for.
This is
time to roast. Time to roast.
Wow. I don't know what this says yet, but I'm very fascinated by it.
Okay, yeah. So I decided to tally up everybody who gave me their
Whoa! What's with the lack of Virgos?
Yeah, dude, we have no Virgo representation.
No Virgos anywhere in Folkwise?
No Virgo placements. Well,
and this is like
of the big three.
Of the big three, and this is, and you're saying this is like, I'm by the number of like Scorpios, I'm guessing this is like everyone who has appeared for like a Among Us Jackbox stream. Like this is expanding the definition of Folkwise pretty far.
Yeah, well, okay,
Virgos have no rights.
I'll give you guys the list, the teaser list of everybody I'm including in this.
Let's go.
Caroline, Chrissy, Daisy, David, Dom, Jared, Caitlin, Carrie, Sam, Shirley, and Folkwise itself, as well as myself.
Folkwise itself?
We'll talk about this.
Folkwise itself?
Yeah.
July 20th, huh?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
July 20th?
Yeah.
We looked up.
Amazing,
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Amazing.
We'll get to it.
I gotta say, there's a lot of water here. A lot of water signs here.
Yeah. Look at all these intuitive.
I use my own symbolism here to try to do the fixed versus mutable versus
I see.
cardinal here. So for Aries, right there you see its little sign, as well as the fire symbol, because it's a fire sign, as well as the triangle, which I am using for cardinal, which means
the bringer of war himself.
Yeah. The square I'm using to be fixed, which means that it's kind of in the middle of it. It's representing the kind of solidification of those. And then the wavy symbol as mutable. And that's the one that kind of harkens the changing of the season. So that's just a little behind the scenes, my personal interpretation of I don't know if there's an emoji that's used for that primarily, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, lots and lots of Scorpio, good amount of Pisces, 4 Pisces.
A lot of Pisces.
Sun signs too. So, the sun is for sun sign, the arrow is for rising, or your ascendant, and then the moon sign is for your moon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, any other things we want to point out? Okay, yeah. So we're relatively like low on.
Aquarius. Anna's face is covering Aquarius, but it's a moon. It's just a lone moon.
Yeah, one moon.
We don't have a lot of air.
Not a lot of air.
Very little air. Very little air.
Where people like to get shit done.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're kind of underrepresented in the Earth sign department too. I would say our fire and water are strong though, so we got to recruit some.
We always be simpering. Like we always be percolating up here.
It's coffee, pasta, all the best things involve fire and water. Italian, by the way.
Lovely, thank you for being our lone air reps.
Aww.
And bubbly makes sense that she's air because she loves baking.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
Oh, wait, can you explain that to me?
Because baking is the art of getting air hot and making delicious food.
Oh, okay, I like that. Okay. I was like, wait, air? I honestly couldn't. Okay, anyway.
Michael Pollan, look it up.
Baking is the art of getting air hot. Okay, next.
Enlightenment.
Yeah.
I'm not dream free tonight.
What?
I had a crazy week. Bread wife, that's right. Yeah, never forget bread wife. Anyway, Anna, go.
Oh yeah. So not sure if Caroline is here, but she came first alphabetically. So that is why she is the first person here.
Oh, next slide.
Yeah,
next slide. Sorry.
Caroline,
there we go.
Awesome.
So Caroline's a Sag. She's also has a Scorpio moon. We do not know her rising sign.
Accidentally saying a curse word in front of little kids is so Caroline. Sorry.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Caroline.
No, Anna said something really important. You should say that.
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah. So we do not know her rising sign because we do not know her exact birth time. Rising sign is the sign that was ascending into the sky at that liminal phase where you are entering the world and the stars are making their cosmic imprint upon your vessel. That's your rising sign. And that's something that is very specific to your particular time of birth. It changes really rapidly throughout the day. Unfortunately, we don't have that particular data. However, there are lots of different ways that people get around this. So one of the things that people do is they will pay somebody who's an expert to do a rectification of their birth chart, which means that they will determine based on certain things what they believe to be their actual rising time, etc. Another thing that people do is do the sort of self-examination. They do their own research. They look into the various rising signs and then determine which one seems correct, and then kind of see where that makes other things fall on their chart and see if that makes sense. It takes a lot of tinkering. I've
seen people do that a lot too, especially if they feel they're like, something is weird about this, and they talk to a parent or they look at their birth certificate and they're like, oh yeah, I'm actually a couple hours wrong. So if you feel like really disconnected from a particular piece of your chart, that's totally valid. And like, you might just want to read more in depth, you know, like about what each of them are saying about how you experience the world and align with what you see as a good assessment of the way that you interact with the world, because that's going to be more valid than any of this other crap, in my opinion.
I don't know, like that, like the computers spit out, printed out kind of like versions of things are not necessarily going to align with anybody's personal experience, right? Like you have to kind of think about individually what those things represent and then kind of work that together with the rest of your chart, because a lot of times it's like kind of little bits and pieces that are not necessarily, like, you're trying to jam them together and they don't, but if you think about them more holistically, sometimes they will.
And I think that it's like an intuitive art form. I think that you are like, the people who get really into astrology are exercising their intuition and like ability to read other people's behavior and their own. Like I see it as like, you're going to get this list out and it's going to give you a bunch of different signs in different placements, and they're all going to say different things because a computer cannot talk about how they blend together. An astrologer, to me, is somebody who not only is incredibly well-versed in this material, but is also well-versed in exercising their intuition about how these things relate to each other, and then give you something that you can hold onto to better understand how that affects the way that you perceive and interact with the world.
It's making the bridge between like the sort of like universal concept with the particular. Like they're the bridge that.
Well, and I didn't mention this earlier, but like I love the attempt in scale that this approaches, from literally the stars down to like the everyday experience. And I find that very compelling, that it's attempting to articulate some kind of relationship there. I'm not saying it's like the most accurate, but that is fascinating.
But Daisy, that's the thing that has me completely sold from this talk. If we've on the show before defined mythology as like the anthropomorphization of the cosmos, sold. Yes, I love this shit.
Listen, I mean, literally. So the whole like concept of astrology is often kind of summarized as above, so below. Meaning that there's sort of like that the cosmological, like the cosmos are literally reflected and embodied in the kind of microcosm of yourself or your world, and that there's some sort of innate organization or like correspondences that happen there. So it's a kind of cool way of looking at the relationship between yourself and the world.
And I can ask another question?
Yeah.
It's about, can you, circling back to like getting a professional to rectify like your rising sign?
Yeah.
How, we're allowed to say why Caroline doesn't have a rising sign, right?
Well, I guess. I mean,
so how often is this for like people who are adopted to like get like their rising sign rectified?
Well, I think that it depends on a lot of different things, like different circumstances. first of all, there's like debate about like, why do we consider like the moment that you come out of your like mother's womb or whatever as like, is that the point of like when you become an individual?
Yeah.
Or is it the point where you are like,
yeah, like
sufficient outside of it? Or what is it like? Some other people are like, what about your conception point? And there are other kinds of astrology that don't base it so harshly on the natal, that moment of the like transition from inside to outside of the body. Like so you can do different reading, like charts for yourself at different points of time in your life as well, based on whatever you like. But there are so there are many people who don't know their birth time for whatever reason, oftentimes because they were adopted in certain circumstances, and so they don't have an accurate one.
Yeah.
And overall, that's something that like I think is kind of a challenge for people, some people, especially as they're getting to astrology, but is a challenge that also kind of gives you a little, I almost like wish that I could just invent mine so I could figure it out for myself. Like maybe I'd come to the same conclusions, maybe I wouldn't. But like, I think it's something that's interesting. I mean, people like talk all the time about that, but then it sort of gets into debates about like, when does life begin, et cetera, et cetera. And that's something that,
that's an interesting layer of, I know we're talking about like a post-colonial kind of astrology reading, and like talking about how these things are all like layered in power and structures. Like this is still a structure that operates in a system where certain types of experiences are privileged over others. Being able to know your birth time. I mean, if you really want to like get into the weeds about it, like I'm sure that there's some very interesting studies done on different groupings of people who are more likely to know or not know the time that they were born. Yeah. Based on economic status, citizen status, like all different kinds of things. So I think that that's really fascinating too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so different forms of astrology. So we're mostly talking is the Western astrology that is currently dominating Folkwise, let's say.
Or like social media
also. And is called like as a colonial power, like Western sort of ideologies have kind of come to have a dominating force. But other forms of astrology do take different time periods as sort of like important to consider in it, rather than a natal chart. The natal chart is sort of like the mass popularized version of this. Yeah.
So interesting.
So it's super interesting, definitely. Basically, though, you for Caroline, there would need to be some predictive astrology that happens, wherein she's sort of like predicting her own sign or anticipating like what that may be and playing with it. The other thing I wanted to point out about Caroline right now is that she has a lot of Capricorn. You'll see that people born in certain years have similarities in terms of specifically their like outer planets. They're like Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune. These change slower than other signs. So that's something to point out. So it kind of is those signs sometimes, or those planets kind of rule an era or a like generation more so than like maybe the individual. It kind of is like the time in which you're born, the not as broad as like millennial, but like more like the last like 3 years or whatever might share the same like Uranus sign. So anyway, moving on to the next slide. But I did want to point out also that she's a Sag.
She's a what? You cut out there. A what?
A Sag, a Sagittarius sun sign with a water moon sign. And we have another one of those coming up too. So
I think that makes total sense for Caroline, because she's always like down to be out and interacting and talking to people, but I think that she feels very deeply about those interactions.
Totally. Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow. This looks so different compared to Caroline's. Wow. Chrissy!
So with Caroline's, we were able to know the various placements of the planets, but not the locations of the houses. So here in Chrissy's, we have a lot more information in terms of those little like numbers in there. Those are the different houses, and that allows you to identify different relationships between them. So here we have, those little symbols like the triangle or the like two dots and stuff, or the square. Those mean like you can read the chart. So like, for instance, in Chrissy's chart, we can see that her moon sign is trine. It has a triangle with her Venus sign, which means that's a positive correlation. That means that her Venus sign, which rules like a lot of like things like love or caring relationships and beauty or art, is aligned well with her moon sign. Versus square, which is in her, let's see, Jupiter there with her moon sign, that would mean that there would be more opposition or trouble or tension regarding how the moon sign interacts with the Jupiter. Anyway, we'll go into that more, but I wanted to say that Gemini, probably the second most maligned, or the first, honestly. What do you think is the most
talking to?
What?
I was like, depends who you're talking to. It's either going to be like Gemini, Scorpio, or maybe Aries.
I know some people who would do self-destructive behavior and then go, oops, I'm a Gemini. So that's all I'll say.
Okay, no, can I plug Emily Rideau, Astro Yoga again, other folklorist who has a legit business in folklore, or a legit business in Astro Yoga, who got a degree in folklore. Okay. She posted a video today on Instagram, literally today, that was about how Gemini season basically just started recently, right? And so she was like, Geminis get a bad rap. People say that Geminis feel hurt, or people who are complaining about Geminis say that they feel hurt because they are able to disconnect themselves from like close relationships with a kind of what is perceived as a coldness. And I think that rubs people the wrong way. But she was like, let's reframe this narrative to think about how Geminis and other kinds of like air signs that maybe experience this kind of ability to separate as just being really good at knowing when their presence in a situation is no longer beneficial to either party.
Okay.
I just never thought of it that way before, of like, they're just really good at discerning, like, when a participation in a particular activity, thing, relationship, person is, like, flowing and growing, and, like, people are experiencing something together, and knowing when to leave, which is a skill.
Sure. Yeah.
It's sort of being able to make boundaries sometimes. Yeah,
or just be able to engage, like, deeply, and then know when it's time to move to something else. And like, that's a skill that not a lot of people have. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a cool, like, reframing of that criticism of like, they're not cold, they just know when to leave.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, I don't know, I thought it was cool. Anyway, Emily Rideau.
I also personally love air signs in general. I vibe with them as friends a lot. So I have a lot of Gemini friends. And I'm married to an Aquarius. And I feel like the sort of air sign qualities that I really like have to do with their ability to kind of like engage more playfully with ideas, and I feel like not be too attached to them sometimes in certain ways. Yeah, they can like let them go and like experiment. You know? And so I feel like that's something that I really resonate with, and that's a kind of the joy of words and speaking and kind of thinking about things as something that isn't necessarily entrenched in like reality sometimes is a really cool thing about but anyway, we also see here sorry, go ahead.
To say to Bubbly Like Soda in the chat, I don't think it's that Geminis don't have deep relationships though. No. I guess that's not to say that isn't possible. So what you're picking up is interesting. But that isn't to say that like they don't form those, because everybody does, because we're humans and we like to have deep, meaningful relationships with people. You're just good at like setting boundaries about it, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And good at thinking about the world and thinking interesting things about it. That's and being playful through all these experimental, like the 4 Gemini moods, like the why is this happening / here's all the hobbies / I'm just gonna send a meme because it's not as emotionally invested as I could be here,
and then change his mind about needing to do any of those things. You know,
Yeah.
it's because it's always moving, it's always moving, it's always cooking.
Always cooking. And having a grounded Capricorn moon, I feel like
that could also
a cool aspect. But I was kind of surprised to see the Aries rising. I don't know. What do you think, Daisy or Dom, about the Aries rising in this chart?
No, I honestly, sometimes it makes me wonder. I mean, I know Chrissy knows when she was born. It's part of the narrative of Chrissy's life about being born. But I do think it's interesting. Okay, Death Lore says Aries rising. I don't know. But we like Soda, check out what CoStar, what the internet says about Aries rising.
I want to know like how it relates, because I was like,
you got homework to do, Chrissy.
I felt like that one was a surprise to me.
I mean, Chrissy gets pretty passionate about is a passionate person.
Yeah,
I feel like Aries is like you commit and you are passionate in a direction. So maybe that's like doing something with the Gemini moon. Of like,
and also I want to point out the little bit of Cancer she has in there with Mercury and Mars.
Which is funny because Mars is like the fighting planet, right? So to have Cancer, which is like one of the most emotional kind of placements, to be in your Mars is like
it's hard. It's
very heated about not fighting.
Actually, the meme that I have for David relates to that, because I was like,
yes, oh my god,
for there to be that many like Pisces memes. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on to the next one.
Next one is Daisy. Is our power baby. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's Kitty Cat No Brim. You found a meme. This is the most Daisy shit I've ever seen.
I know.
Oh my god, Daisy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Daisy.
Scorpio meme, and it would have been kind of funny, but this one was.
Oh my god,
Daisy.
Daisy.
These are the two sides of Daisy, actually.
So this is all I had to see. Yeah, that's Daisy.
I'm like all Scorpio and all Capricorn, basically.
To the point where I was talking to Daisy the other day, and they basically said, "I'm too baby to be your ruler."
but make me a ruler.
Make me a ruler, but I'm so baby. I can't deal with this.
But I can't.
Bestowed too much responsibility at too young of an age. Okay.
Oh
that's
my
the Capricorn.
god.
That also describes my family life. So I just I'm curious what else, Anna, if you notice anything. I have some things I have like noticed and internalized about this. I find interesting, but I'm curious what you see.
Can I share one more thing about Daisy that illustrates all of this?
Yes,
please do.
Okay, Daisy always ironically sends me millionaire mindset memes, but you have to be deep into millionaire mindset to see as many memes as they do. So that's all I'm saying. Like, look at this thing I'm doing ironically. Success win lifestyle.
Not those specifically. I just know the accounts.
Well, success win brain style. Okay, Scorpio success win brain style.
Oh my god, basically. Honestly, I always attribute that to my Capricorn moon, but you know, whatever.
The millionaire mindset. I mean, that kind of I feel like your overall vibe here with the sorry, I'm just like, I have to actually see the circle. I didn't have everybody's like circle.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
But I want to say that overall, I feel like you have an okay balance of like, you got a lot of water in there with the Scorpio, but you also have like then a good amount of fire, a little bit of like things here and there. Overall, I think you're I honestly am less familiar with Capricorns in my personal life, especially with moons. However, it makes sense
that you have weird placement.
Because of I feel like you're reliable in a way that a lot of people in my life are not reliable.
Oh, Daisy is extremely reliable.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I felt like that was like true feeling. What is the part that you are particularly like you're interested in?
I think a couple things I like learned that I upon reading more into astrology, like I didn't ever pay attention to until like I was getting more into it. And one is that like so much of my Scorpio placements are in the first house.
Yeah,
which is like that's like the thing that is most present in part of you. And I think it's interesting that my Venus is in the first house. So like those like interpersonal relationships that I have with people are part of how I see myself as like it's a value that is like central to who I understand myself to be, which I thought was interesting.
So can you explain houses to Zabumafoo over here?
I don't know if I can explain them though. I just know what they mean. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, so the house, like houses, each one is associated with a different thing. It's kind of based on like cultural things about like numbers and the cycle of the birth and the death, whatever. But so the first house is associated with like your like establishment of your ego, yourself, etc. And it's like, so to have both your like sun sign in your first house and your Venus and your rising sign, and they're all in one sign is that's a lot. That means that like there's a sense of there that's like like for my sun sign is in my fifth house, which is associated with like relationships and home or something like that versus like self. So that's like a pretty powerful placement. I think that people consider that powerful. 12th house, like, so the higher you get in numbers to fortunate people consider them to be, which is, I don't like that. Yeah. But that may be because, I don't know. So anyway, there's lots of,
speaking of
death and like that's the end of the sort of life cycle and valuation of youth. This is my critique of that. But anyway,
that's fair.
Go on.
Speaking of that too, though, like, my Libra is in Mercury. That's something that I paid way more attention to, and I feel like answers. So a Scorpio being a fixed sign, a Capricorn, I think it's also a fixed sign, very immutable, very like decisive, and have a direction to go, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a goal, whatever. But like having a Libra in Mercury, your Mercury is like associated with how you communicate with people. And Libras are always trying to find balance to things.
That's you.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm just saying,
social butterfly kind of like.
Yeah.
Daisy's like the most like mediator of anyone I know.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think that was a weird thing for me to like notice in myself. And then maybe also Mars and Sagittarius is like the only other thing that I kind of felt like that I think I associate with my like passion and direction and like being for the underdog. Like I think it's why I choose weird stuff to fight for, like the folklore community. Like most people are fine just being whatever tech bro success win mindset, but like I don't care about that. Like I care about the people. And I think that, like, the Sagittarius and my Mars in Sagittarius and my Venus in Scorpio, I think do something to make that. So I don't know. I mean,
I love talk. Like I was thinking like one of the things I'm the most interested in for whatever reason, maybe it's specifically because we know each other through this very academic context, is like everybody's Mercury sign, and like you being a Libra is like a very cool sign that I feel like does make a lot of sense in terms of your ability to kind of like balance, but also kind of be able to bring people together a little bit in a way that's
or to like
sociable.
I like to think I ask a lot of questions without a lot of like need for certainty about the answers people give me on first glance.
Can you rephrase that in one word, Daisy?
Libra Mercury? What?
Probably. And also without like needing to like enmesh yourself with their identity, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Would do.
That's interesting too. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
Is it our Dungeon Master next?
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
This is funny too. I've looked at David's a lot.
So David's here. We have We got another Pisces on board.
So this is funny for David too, because he updated it. Because he thought the rising sign. No, this is the corrected, updated one. So in the past, I think he like actually looked at his birth certificate or something instead of going off what his mom said. In the past, his rising was also listed as Aquarius. And when it changed to Cancer, he was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. And I was like, yeah, maybe it does. It's like, you definitely have Aquarius energy, but also like you are feeling baby. Like you are like deeply feeling baby. You know, like soft, like gets hurt easily.
Can I tell you the greatest compliment anyone ever gave me?
Yes.
Is when David said, Dom, I admire how strongly you believe in things and go for them. I'm like, David.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh God! I know what letter. I know what name comes next in the alphabet, Daisy.
So David here. I was like, okay, can't do another Pisces thing. Love an Aquarius, honestly. And the Aquarius moon is a cool, I feel like, contrast to the Pisces energy, which is considered typically not super cool, but not as uncool as Cancer. Here I come to Cancer rising. I love my Cancer risings, but like Cancer signs in general. But anyway, he has two Cancers here. There's a Cancer in the rising as well as Cancer, which I was like, what about Cancer Mars? I don't know too much about that. So I tried specifically to find a Cancer Mars meme, and this was the one I found.
Oh, that's a great account on Instagram too. I also follow that one.
Yeah. So
Lunastro.
Yeah. They create a lot of content. So I was like, okay, this is gonna fine with this. So I think the sort of like amplification of the water signs here as the sun, the rising, and then the Mercury makes a lot of sense for like some of his emotional abilities. And I'm curious about more of the like what the other chart looked like in terms of the houses now, thinking about
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it probably looked different.
Yeah.
I think David also like has lots of deep feelings, but fundamentally wants people to connect and bring people together, which I think is the lightheartedness in some ways of the Aquarius and the like emotional connection of the Pisces, like working together. Like David's always doing experiments, right? David's doing experiments in the house.
David's like the
dungeon master.
Yeah.
The one who's using art to bring people together. The dungeon master, right?
Exactly.
So like David's like being charismatic, which I think is part of the Aquarius, but like wanting people to connect, I think is the Cancer rising and the Pisces together, trying to say like this and that how that paints like his self-worth. Like if people aren't connecting through that facilitation, I think he feels bad. He's a little bit like that kind of like empathetic nature of I did something wrong, and it's like not about you at all. Like it's about the people or whatever. But I think that means a lot to him. So that's
you said paints his self-worth, and I'm just remembering that time he did raccoon makeup on stream. Anyway,
it was fun.
It was great.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
Uh-oh.
He's also
Hold on, oh my God, you gave me fucking Taylor Swift. Are you kidding me? Okay, I need to make you a little smaller for that, Anna.
I don't exactly understand this, and I need all of our Swiftie powers together to understand what that means.
Yes.
But,
Dom, you're literally the CEO of giving everyone hugs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Being like, okay, all of those are correct.
Yeah, honestly.
Pisces off the charts.
Really a lot of Pisces here. I was like, there must be something wrong. There isn't. It's a lot of Pisces. So Leo Moon Pisces combo is something that I have also in common with Dom.
Yeah.
And
cool.
What have you thought about that, Dom?
What have I thought about what?
Pisces, Sun, Leo Moon.
What do I think about that?
You have the same...
Okay. Can I tell you a story?
Sure.
Okay, this is from when we started that stream with the note on tradition, and I was talking to Daisy about it, and I believe what I said was, if we treat this like this is just a normal Tuesday, I will be paralyzed by anxiety and not be able to host the show. We have to do something. And Daisy's first reply was, Leo Moon, right? So
that's like the most Leo thing I've ever heard. Public display of emotion.
I need to publicly display my emotion about injustices, or I will be unable to host my video game show.
And you'll feel success and pride from having done so.
Well, I did, but I guess if I yeah, I don't know, like water and fire. I'm Italian. I'm a royal boil. I'm boiling water. Throw the spaghetti in. No, I think it's
water is nice. I like
no,
that.
I'm boiling water. I'm boiling water. Yeah.
Or you're like a hurricane. I mean, not hurricane. A snowstorm.
I love snowstorms. Lake Erie. I love a lake effect. I love getting a school off because ice days. More common than getting an actual snow day was an ice day in Ohio, you know? Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah, I just was honestly like, you have so much Pisces, but I feel like your Leo moon is stronger than mine. You have that ability to bring it down.
Anna though, Fashion Central. I don't know about that.
And
I don't know. Both of you are kind of Fashion Central.
We're both like
you want to wear your feelings.
I will point out that Anna and I shared a bolo tie one weekend.
Yeah,
I love a bolo tie.
And we both looked great.
But I feel like you were able to really embrace that a little bit. The showbiz side of our moves, that being important.
What
is cool.
Okay, I'm like looking at these now.
Yeah.
Is that your Mercury is Gemini?
Mercury is Pisces.
Pisces.
Okay, Mercury's Pisces.
Okay.
Mars
I am the CEO of feelings.
Your Venus is Pisces. Okay. What is your Mars? What's the Mars and Jupiter? Is that
Mars and Jupiter are Gemini?
Okay, that's Gemini. Okay.
Yeah, so you have a little Gemini there. And then the Saturn and Uranus as Capricorn, and then Pluto is Scorpio, and then the Pisces rising. So yeah, there's other things you could kind of read into, like those squares in there.
Hillbilly Eilish, you have more Pisces placements than Dom? That's wild.
Yeah, because Anna is telling me I have an obscene amount of Pisces placements. I was
honestly like, I feel like I have the problem where as a Pisces, I feel like maybe I project onto other Pisces the problems that we face in the world.
Oh my god.
And so I'm like, damn, another Pisces. When I was reading this chart, in a good way, in that I'm doing empathy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got some good things in there. Like, there's some interesting, like, you have let's see here, you have some sextiles with your Jupiter. You got okay, yeah, you have some good. You actually don't have that many squares or conjunctions or oppositions. I mean, so that's like kind of good.
Okay.
So that's cool. I mean, you could read more deeply, but in general, how different that like looks than like anybody else's
than, like,
chart.
Caroline's, yeah.
Really rounded chart. Like yours is like all the way around versus many people who have kind of lopsided ones, or like.
I think mine is kind of lopsided.
I think
I have like one like out to the side, and then the rest of it is kind of like lopsided in water.
I think it's hysterical that like this is exposed like Daisy as like the brains of the operation, and like me as, what did you say, showbiz? You know what I mean?
It's like,
yeah, but like who does what on Folkwise? Who does what on Folkwise? Well, Dom is the showbiz, Daisy's the brains.
I do the taxes.
Yeah, Daisy does the taxes. Daisy does the taxes. I do costumes.
Daisy, when you were in like high school, curriculars, and if so, what were they?
Did I do extra?
Oh my god, Daisy's the razzle and Dom is the dazzle. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go!
That's our like. Oh my god. That's our that's our tag team wrestling finisher is razzle and dazzle.
In high school, like I would call my extracurriculars. Like I played soccer for a long time, which is like chess with your body, so that makes sense.
Capricorn, I feel like.
Yeah. And then I actually was really into fashion. And like I would, now that you mention it, I used to go to thrift stores with my friend, and we would flip clothes at these swap meets. So tells you something. We would get up at like 4 a.m. and go to the swap meets in LA
in order to
so
do business.
So Carl in chat says, "Who is Jesse and who is James?" I think you're thinking about this all wrong. Daisy's Pikachu and I'm Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think Shirley is definitely
and
Meow.
Shirley's Meow. We'll get to Shirley.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Yes. God, this Ariana Grande just fucking read me. Anyway, Jared. Jared. Garlic in the chat for this one, people. Garlic in chat for Jared Bear. Oh my god, Jared Bear's a fucking triangle up here on the chart.
Whoa.
Holy shit. Garlic in chat, baby.
Hell yeah.
Jared has some good Leo here. He's got his Venus and Mars in addition to his Sun.
God, this is fucking Jared.
What a fucking little like golden sun baby.
Oh my god.
Golden sun baby here.
Folks, we love Jared.
This like meme was exactly Jared to me. Like
that meme is so Jared. And also, like Jared, all of these guys in this photo with Dolly for like 5 fucking years took a selfie at 5 o'clock holding a beer and sent it to everyone on Snapchat.
Oh my god, yes. Yes. And they all absolutely simped to Dolly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my god. Absolutely.
Honestly, incredible. But so he's also got his little Cancer Mercury, so that's why he's able to handle us water signs in the Folkwise group, and a Scorpio rising, which I found interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't anticipate that one for him. What do you think as a Scorpio rising yourself? I am one as well, so
I don't know. I didn't really anticipate that. Although I do think Jared like has a lot of internal conflict about where to put his emotional energy.
Jared, Jared.
Not trying to put Jared on blast.
No, I'm not trying to.
There's something about like Jared. Like I am doing good things. I am going to school. I am gorgeous, beautiful. Everybody remembers me. I'm such a schmoozer. Blah blah. And then also Jared's like, but do people actually care about me though? What is the existence? I think that's what Jared is like.
I'll say something for Jared.
Death Loris figured that Jared had some water in there. Interesting.
Yeah, Jared is Jared's the most photogenic of all of us. Jared's fucking beautiful, and like all of his video essays are so fucking great because you can just look at Jared talk. But like Jared, and I say this, from a place of love and also as his frustrated creative director, needs to really be focused or he's all over the place. So that is what I'm getting at with Scorpio rising.
Okay. Yeah. I feel that. I feel like his
emotional energy is unfocused.
His emotional energy is everywhere, which is a lot of the times good because I love getting a beer with that man.
He makes great when he makes a plan and does the plan, it's always really good. Like I always feel like Jared is a really fun writer and speaker.
I still think the fucking the Garlic video is one of the funniest things we ever did on the show.
It's so funny, and like
I mean, of course, like someone auto-tuned it. That's how fucking good Jared is.
Amazing.
But I think he's like maybe emotionally is like not quite aligned with some of these other areas, but I don't know. It also could be just like the state of life. So
yeah. Okay, I'm like trying to see what his ascendant is like aligned with. Okay, he has a square with his Mercury. What is his? Okay, anyway, Cancer Mercury is like that's cool too. I feel like that's another water vibe of him. I was kind of surprised by, for some reason, the Scorpio though. But anyway, let's move on to the next one.
Cool.
Caitlyn.
Oh yeah,
No,
Caitlyn.
that is so Caitlyn.
When Caitlyn was in town, we had such a long, great conversation, and it was fucking awesome.
You had such a what? I missed.
Like a long, great conversation about both of our charts together. Like we were talking about this. It was fucking awesome. And like I feel like I understand Caitlyn at a deeper level. And I'm like, oh, this all makes fucking sense. Like, I don't know.
Well, maybe you should talk about this then. Let's hear your...
Oh, God! Okay, well, Death Lords, like, pop in the chat if you want to talk about it, but...
Yeah, Death Lords, pop in the chat with your camera off if you do, but pop in the chat. Yeah. Defend yourself.
I think it makes so much sense that Caitlyn is, like, a Sagittarius sun, and like, really, like, fighting for people that she cares about, like really passionate about her interests, like wanting to explore and like go out and do things and interact, but also having like all of this emotional Cancer come in that's like, don't hurt my babies. Like it is totally like, this is such a good like fun con mom. Like placement series because it's not con mom. Like Cancer is always stereotyped as being very like motherly and emotional. Anyway, I don't like that kind of that particular gendered layer to it because I think it's more about like caring deeply about the inner world of other people and how those things are relating to you, like making you feel. But it's fun to have that combo with the Sagittarius who's like, oh yeah, you want to go fucking drink a beer at this weird like parking lot? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
because
like
you want to run away from all your problems? Yes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you want to go somewhere and like connect and then like talk about all the emotional shit that we're doing? Yeah, but let's like be at a concert while we do it. Let's like be at a festival while we do it. Let's,
yeah,
you know.
Daisy, because what I'm getting at is
not
like
an extrovert. All right, I'm not saying Caitlyn's not an introvert, but there's something about like wanting to be part of and experience life that I think Caitlyn totally has and is fucking cool. And this is an underrated policeman.
All of the Cancer, Daisy, all of the Cancer is like Caitlyn being like the friend who like makes sure her friends don't die when they get too drunk and like takes care of like numerous animals. And the Sagittarius is like, but the Sagittarius is like, but at the end of the day, I just want a White Claw Surge and a hookah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's my sense is also that like the fire sign is the thing that is able to hold it together enough to be like the person that you would want to talk to the cops if everybody was drunk.
Oh, that is so Caitlyn of the group.
Yes,
that is so Caitlyn.
I would be like sweating bullets. Like, yes.
This is, you know what? You know what though? This is such good mod energy. Like, you couldn't design a better mod. Look at this.
Honestly. Yeah, honestly.
Nothing. Yeah. Salute the ladders for our Sagittarius mod.
Caitlyn's like, I'm so good with cops. Cops love me.
Nothing but respect for my president, Death Loris.
So honestly, I feel like that's Sagittarius, Sun and Mercury kind of coming through that like front of being able to like hold together when other more watery signs like that are deeper in our chart might not be able to. That was a lot of that ability to connect with the like wateriness, and I like that.
Yeah, and Sagittarius Mercury, I also think makes sense because Caitlyn is good at networking and wants to be part of it all.
And like, oh my god, hey, here's a little peek behind the curtain. If we ever ask a question about networking in an interview, it was Caitlyn. By the way,
it was Caitlyn.
That's Caitlyn's favorite question: is tips about networking and mentorship.
That's cool. I like that. I would actually like feel like I benefit from knowing everybody's tips. But yeah, she's got that. And she's that. That's a Mercury, that's Sagittarius. She's able to be like snappy and on it. Like love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Wait, before we go, can everyone get an exclamation point Roach for Caitlyn in the chat? Okay, thank you.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Cute horse. I can't wait for a horse enthusiast to name the horse I have in Calico.
Oh, hell yes. All right, who's up next? Is it Carrie?
Carrie.
Oh my
hell
god.
Yeah.
Other so Pisces.
CEO of book club.
Fire, moon, and with the water.
Is this water, fire, water? Is this why like Carrie and I are such buds? Is why
you
we're
are so
buddies?
similar. You are so similar.
This is only two water, fire, waters will end up at 3 a.m. at a Will Ferrell bar in Washington D.C. together.
Can I say 3 because I'm also?
Oh well, yes, but you weren't that one time you were at you weren't there the one time at a Will Ferrell bar, but yes.
Okay, but I really, this to me, I feel like the Sagittarius versus the Leo moon is part of why Carrie gets shit done a little bit more than, for instance, a Leo moon Pisces sun.
It's less flashy about it, but it's no less dedicated to the art.
Yes. So like being able to like make the call, make the shot, like in sort of a different realm versus kind of like getting caught up in the aesthetics of it sometimes. Love that about a Sag. And I also think the Cancer rising is very special. Honestly, I have this meme here just in general for water signs having a fire moon and being upset by somebody.
That's pretty right. That's pretty correct.
To like do something about it in the end.
I've got too much shit to do. They can come to me. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I feel like this is a really cool, like, honestly, the wild amount of Pisces, like, in Folkwise is pretty wild. And we'll go into the Folkwise chart itself and its nascent.
Oh, but, I'm ready.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good.
Interesting to think about. So Carrie, I would like to know what Carrie's thought are, or anybody else's, about Carrie's chart here, because I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, Rebecca, are you around? I hope so. We'll see.
I don't see her.
I don't see her in the chat. But okay. Well, I think Cancer rising makes sense a lot for Carrie too, because she also kind of has con mom energy, but it's more like, I'm gonna fight you, or you all are gonna get out of my way.
Yeah, she doesn't have con mom energy. She has
she has whiskey drinking aunt energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like she bear energy. Yeah,
like energy that's like, don't fuck with my kids.
Yeah,
where Caitlin's like,
and she's also the oldest one,
does
right?
everyone have stacks? I think she is.
Yeah,
I think Carrie's the oldest of us.
I believe so.
She is our whiskey aunt. Yeah.
Whiskey aunt, that's nice. I also like love that. So Pisces.
Oh, technically John is, I guess, but yeah.
I was going to do a meme that was Sagittarius and Pisces because of the combo of Carrie and Caitlin, and it was two angels hugging each other, and it's Sagittarius and Pisces, and then running away from your problems but hugging each other, and I like that.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on quickly. We got Sam on here.
Sam, hey, tier 2 subs, you know what to do.
Okay. Also, I gotta say, Taurus is strong in Sam, and it makes so much more sense to me that he's got all this other Scorpio going on, because he's also like mysterious.
Yeah,
Sam is a little
he's private, and he's very steadfast and strong and opinionated.
God damn, this meme is Sam.
And like any of the reasoning for that is a mystery for all. Like, it is all.
Whoa, hold on. Joel, you just said finally another Taurus. The fact that Joel and Sam are Tauruses actually might explain a lot about
Joel.
Oh my god, about the state of Kentucky, honestly.
Oh my god, if Joel doesn't have a fucking fire moon and a water rising, I'll eat my hat.
All right, which hat?
Joel, I need to know.
Kitty cat no brim. Kitty cat no brim.
Kitty cat no brim. Let's go, Joel. You fucking
Joel,
better.
Post big 3. Get in the fucking big 3.
Get in the fucking big 3.
Get in the fucking big 3, Joel.
That's my guess.
Honestly, okay. So Taurus being like a big sign, I feel like it makes sense that both Sam and Joel are Earth signs to me.
Yes.
But for their sun signs, I feel like there's got to be some different placements in there.
Sam also has all that Scorpio in the first house too.
Oh wait, so who else was a Scorpio rising besides me and you and Sam? Oh, Jared.
Sam and Jared. Yeah.
So Anna, which detail from this slide is the most like I identify with the concept of being a shitbird.
Taurus sun.
Just Taurus sun is just the shitbird sign.
Taurus sun. Okay, here. This is what I think it is. I think it is Taurus sun and Scorpio moon because it is both like aggressive and power hungry.
Yeah, well, and also being
and like emotionally damaging.
Sam's not power hungry. Would you say emotionally damaging?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean by power, like having power over.
Like, Sam just consistently rolled into chat for like the year we played Breath of the Wild and told me to kill my horse and make glue out of it. My horse which became like literally have fucking Art of my Zelda horse, and he was like put the horse down and make glue. You know?
So edgy.
So the Taurus, I feel like okay, if you were a Scorpio, let's say, I feel like there would be a little bit more of a like concern with appearances. I feel like a lot of Scorpios I know have like a specific aesthetic.
They want to look as edgy as they feel. That's my experience anyway.
To like have their own little lair that they do their thing in, and
with like fucking tropical frogs.
Yeah, having a lair is definitely a Scorpio.
Man's got a lair.
Versus like I feel like a Taurus is also like, no, I kind of want it to just be like the way it is, like my way. So it's a little bit more rigid or more like practical. Scorpio, not very practical necessarily.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, the big three are
your sun, your rising, and your moon.
Yeah, the ascendant or the rising, and then the moon and the sun.
What is your moon, Joel? What is your moon, Joel? What is your moon, Joel?
Joel.
Oh my god, are you gonna be right?
Joel Chappening. Joel El Chapo Chapman.
I will like freak out. I feel like Joel totally is Sagittarius rising though. I was like, I wanted to be as specific as to say Sagittarius, but I didn't want to be that specific in case I was like totally wrong. But Joel, what is the moon? We need to know.
Joel, drop the moon, homie. Drop the moon,
homie.
Oh my god.
It's so drop the moon. We're all just staring and waiting.
Moon is also Sagittarius.
Oh, okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Double Sag.
Double Sag makes sense. I have to eat my hat now, so.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You gotta eat kitty cat no bread.
Upstairs. I'll do it on stream next time, yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Next week's React stream, so we can react to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I want to know also what the Mercury is for Joel. I didn't see a stream, but I wish I had. I was working.
Great interview. It's still up for another week. Anna.
Cool.
If you want to check it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to Shirley, and then we have one more.
Shirley!
There's a little game. We can keep going. I'm having fun. I don't know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Maybe we could save the game for like bonus episode, or I think we should put Dom to the test with all of the knowledge he just gained.
Yeah.
I feel like associations.
Let's go. I'm cool with that. Let's go. Extra long episode.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
So Shirley is an Aries, which is very special. I feel like Aries are pretty fun. I use this aesthetic meme just because I love the concept of people just doing like mood boards on like aesthetic things for like astrology signs, because I feel like it helps for me to understand astrology signs as like it's like a bunch of different signs that you kind of put together, or symbols that you kind of like arrange yourself to like understand it. And so anyway, I don't have a great name for her or for them, sorry, but the Aries
of you to say. I just need to point that out. That was a very Pisces thing for you to say. I love all the like intuitive symbols placed together to make a piece of art that tells
I feel like it's nice.
Yeah. I agree too.
Nothing if not a slave to the aesthetic.
You know, when I think of Shirley, especially with their appearances on Folkwise, it's rants, and I think
I love Taurus Aries is the ultimate.
This is the ultimate ranter. Yeah.
This is like even Scorpio moon, like all that.
This is what was it? 5 minutes, strictly 5 minutes, as much as you can say about The Witcher.
2 minutes, or
it was strictly 2 minutes. Yeah, see, and it felt like 5 because you packed so much rant into that. It's unprompted reading the script to the B movie during the commercial break.
It's the lack of fear and like just ability to just jump into it. Like I feel like not a lot of people jump into a different entire thing and just go for it all the way, and you fucking do it all the time.
My favorite thing I ever said about Shirley was assigned angry at birth.
Assigned angry at birth, that's right.
Because I feel like that's all of this.
Dude, that is the most like Aries sunshine thing. Like
yes, assigned angry at birth is just like Aries sunshine. But also the Taurus rising, I think it's like that. Okay.
This is the first half of the Wisey Awards for anyone who watched it. The first when we played The Witcher with Shirley, how fucking mad Shirley got at our like opinions about movies.
Oh my god!
Where Shirley was like defending like animation, and I'm like, I will watch animation if it has a robot or a mech suit. And Daisy's like, animation. What is your famous quote you said, Daisy?
Oh my god, what did I say?
Animation's too accessible. I need something. Yeah,
it's too accessible. I need it to like hurt me to watch it.
I need movies to hurt me. And Shirley yelled at us for like a solid 10 minutes. It was beautiful.
You did your Solid Snake quest, and then like we kind of wandered around in town and argued about robots.
Yep,
it was really good.
It was great.
I also think. What else did I say? I remember when we talked about this in our group chat one time, our Folkwise group chat, and I said something like, "You're assigned angry at birth, but you probably have a lot of like sad feelings about things, and the Scorpio coming in just makes you the writer that you are.
Oh,
you're like taking in all of this information. You're so angry and so upset about it. You just like put it into.
You also
writing.
said my chart made a lot of sense as to why I was still on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't care.
because on Tumblr, and I'm like, excuse you, hold on a second.
Because Tumblr is where you get to be angry on main if you want, or get mad at other people being angry on main. And you can feel a lot in your private, semi-anonymous journal space and be really angry about people. People, places, and things.
Lots of big feelings on Tumblr, I will say that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying
I
it's
also
wrong,
want
I'm
to
saying
point out
I'm
that
fully read.
Twitter's the ultimate pissed off. That's true.
That's just pure angry, though.
It's just, and if Shirley wasn't a writer,
what part of it is it that Shirley? I know about the Shirley and Tumblr is that they crave the chronologicalness. What part of that like craves like the chronological order? You know what I mean?
I mean, okay,
but I also like you can curate your experience a lot easier with Tumblr because there's no algorithm.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of an algorithm,
but
it's not
really
as overwhelming as like
the Taurus rising speaking right now?
I
think that's a Taurus rising vibe and ability to commit to
I think
format.
I think the big thing, Shirley, that your chart speaks to me. The reason for Tumblr and not Twitter is that you're angry with an emotional purpose. That where like people on Twitter that are just angry for being angry are like if you were are like the shitbirds of the chat where they're just like being angry to see what happens.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that Shirley is angry because the things that they're angry about cut them to the core.
Here,
I don't
are you
know.
ready? Are you ready? Aries sun, Taurus rising. You cannot kill me in a way that matters.
You cannot kill me in a way that matters.
Kill me in a way that matters.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I also want to point out that Shirley, when I was looking at your chart, I was like, damn, Shirley has a lot of squares on there and opposition, which means that you're gonna have to do some challenges. You're gonna have to surmount them, or you already have. So good job for you.
Joel, I love the self-discovery happening in the chat right now.
Pray for Shirley, chat. Pray for Shirley.
Yeah.
Pray for Shirley.
Struggle. My life.
my life.
It's an ongoing struggle, my dudes.
Yeah. No, I
mean, Anna, question in the chat for you. Hillbilly Irish says, question for Anna, do you want to hang out with me?
Yeah, who is that person?
We'll connect you on Insta.
Yeah.
For our friend we met, our friend Maggie we met from,
ours,
from Ice and Fire Con.
Okay, cool.
Our cosplay friend. Yeah.
I live in Oakland. I don't know how close you are to there.
Not.
You can be friends.
Yeah.
So much to derail things too much, but there is some. I feel like this might be the best opportunity I'll ever have. So,
what? Okay.
Go on.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of focus with like astrology, and I guess I found in general, especially with Aries, on like the whole like the love and sex and romantic dynamics of it. And like, I mean, just looking at that mood board, I mean, there's a lot of that, sort of sensual dynamic to it.
Yeah.
Which I think when I first, before I like learned about like rising and moods and stuff like that, was definitely sort of like, I mean, kind of, I definitely have a temper, but like, I don't feel like I fit with this. Cause like, as an ace person, that's not a large portion of my life.
Okay.
And so
there's a heteronormative.
Yeah, I'm curious as to like, your ideas on how, I don't know, on why that might be, and how these things that people on people an allosexual perspective might interpret these as like lust and stuff like that, but like how it could also be interpreted elsewhere.
Yeah, so I think that a lot. Actually, there's a really good chapter in the Alice Sparkley Cat one about specifically like gendered assumptions and the fact that because of these, like, basically a lot of like astrology is based on Roman myths and stories and like the planets and views of those things. Aries is associated with Mars, which is associated with war and which is associated with a patriarchal society in which war is male and aggressive and also sexual, versus Venus, which is traditionally assumed to be like the sign of love, is not associated traditionally, like in the past, with sexuality, despite the fact that like now there's sort of like in modern astrology they're starting to be like, oh wait, love and sexuality could be linked there, or they could be linked in other ways. So there's a lot of like new interpretations that aren't based on these super duper patriarchal and like Roman myths. And I think that that's really like a thing I'm kind of grappling with in many ways, how to kind of reinterpret these things. But one of the things that I find important about Aries that is specifically divorced from, I guess, sexuality and how I understand it is that it's about initiative, which in, I guess, heteronormative culture, initiative is considered male or is considered sexual in some ways, right? Or penetrative or something like that. And I think that that's something that initiative doesn't need to be associated with any of those things. It could be associated with initiation in making a post or initiation in starting something new. Or I
have a take to like add to that too, because I guess to me, like, we haven't talked about there's like while a lot of these are like existing in circles, right? Aries is the quote unquote first sign, right? And there is some relationship to like maturity from that, or like how that manifests. So I guess to me, I always see Aries as being like a ruler of senses. And maybe that initiative or like is kind of what you're getting at, Anna, too, but in the sense that like, yes, it's easy for people to associate that with like sex or something, but it also is like bold. Like you will say it as it comes to you. Like the initiator makes sense, but something more like you want, like, I don't know, maybe you're like really into like super hot or really cold showers, or like some kind of like intense like sensory experience as part of the way that you engage or perceive like in the world. Like maybe when you're in a crowd, you like are really feeling the overwhelmingness of that experience, or like something else. So, and I think that sex can relate to that too. And because Aries is more like, because it's like this associated with the first, it's kind of like experiencing things for the first time. And so all of that is kind of an intensity that is not replicable in other signs, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's like how it holds true, but something that helped me better understand like my Aries friends, where I was like, I don't get why you're like just passionately like diving headfirst into something, and your Taurus probably also guides you there too. But there is something about like, I think the sensuality as opposed to sexuality that might help with that. I don't know if that helps you think about how you relate to your world or not. But
yeah, and Daisy, you saw Hillbilly Eilish in chat says Aries rules the head.
Yeah,
that's where
the senses are in the head. Like there's something about like people might think like Taurus is the one like charging forward, but I think if the Taurus is like charging forward into quests and being blunt and particular about the ways that they've like decided to do a thing, I feel like Aries are feeling that dive with a sensory attunement that I don't think everyone has.
The sensory attunement, I think, is important there.
Yeah, like
especially because me, Mr. Masters in Mythology, is also taking this back to like, Aries would do that. That's not a very Dionysian thing. That's such an Aries thing.
Or okay, Hillbilly Eilish makes a good point. Yeah, Taurus is less the charger and more digging heels in. That's a good way to think about it too.
Yeah, I was thinking about like Aries as kind of like starting the fire, as like a kind of like almost interest and curiosity and shit stirring a little bit more so than like for another fire sign like Leo is kind of like enjoying the fire and kind of like
and creating it and bringing it with them.
Like carrying it forward into like
I'm right here.
Well, and it's interesting because like I have a hard time relating to like fire dominant signs in how, not like in general, like we can relate to people, but in how like they're perceiving the world, because when I think about like sensory or like the way I first encounter the world, it's very internal to me. It's very like what's happening inside me and how do I feel like that. So I am often just like sitting there taking it all in and just like thinking about it, where somebody who has a more like emotionally like in front sign or sensory like in front sign are like, you can see it, they're like moving and like doing something or diving. It's like I am the person who wants to like sit and like be alone to think about the feeling rather than like diving into the experience. And I feel like often if I'm diving into the experience, I'm probably really stressed. Like I'm doing an extreme thing. Like I'm either
that is so you.
Yeah, like I'm either like eating nothing and like sitting at my computer for 17 hours, or I'm like going to a concert and like doing drugs. That's like if I'm bad. If I'm doing good, I'm like sitting there and being like, I don't know. I really got to talk to someone about that. Probably.
No, and the inverse is the inverse is why you identify with Gendo Ikari, because because
oh god. But yeah, so I don't know. As Hillbilly, Aries we go commit or follow through. You just go in because it's about the sense. I don't know.
Okay, we got to move on to Folkwise.
Yeah, we gotta go on to
Folkwise. Folkwise is alive. Folkwise is alive, and she's got a chart.
So we talked about this. Anna, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you start.
Well, Anna and I were like, so in the group chat we talked about this, and we're like, this is not fucking real. Like, this is the.
How did you determine these? How did you determine these?
We talked about this, and somebody was pointing this out earlier. They're like, when did you start? Whatever. What's the birth of Folkwise, right? So we came to a kind of like our decision alone. Like we didn't consult the group or anything.
No,
this is my baby. This is Folkwise, my baby.
We decided that Folkwise's birthday was when we officially became an LLC. And if you look up like Wise Folk Productions LLC on the Ohio business like lookup thing, our official birthday is July 31st.
Okay.
Yes.
We
2021.
2021. And so then we thought if you work backwards to when we first started, it only makes sense that that's like the conception point, right? So like maybe our first stream in February, or maybe even the first like ideas from the end of 2020, like October 2020 is like the conception date.
Yeah, that's
and
gestation. then
A
this is
gestative period, and then this is like
the group chat about Guy Fieri is our parents' meeting.
That's the flirtation at the beginning of the
meeting.
Yeah, that was
and when the state of Ohio gives you the birth certificate of legal authority.
Yes, definitely it's a long gestation period because what you don't know is Folkwise is an elephant.
Folkwise is an elephant, so chill.
Sorry, Anna, what did you say?
It's
I just said that is the date of our incorporation in this world. I feel like it's like a birth date.
Yeah.
It's where you separate from the womb, you become your own entity that is legally recognized. So yeah. Anyway, that gives us a Leo sun sign, a Taurus moon, and a Libra rising. And I love this for us. I feel like this is positive. We got
very
that
good vibe. This is a really good vibe.
It's good. We got a Virgo, Venus, and Mars, which is cute. And then we have Aquarius, Jupiter, and Sun. There is a square between the Sun and the Moon. You'll notice there, which means we struggle with what we want versus what we need.
This is
hard.
My
God.
It's hard to do this every week.
It's hard. Yeah. What do we want?
Hard.
That's like I feel like that's at the core of all of our conversations is like, what are we doing? What do we want to do? And how does that fit with our like capacities?
Totally. And then we also have a conjunction between the Sun and the Mercury, which means that like while they're very close aligned, that could be a source of trouble because there's like too much alignment versus like we're all coming together because we love to talk and communicate.
Yes, I've been to those business meetings. I agree.
But that can, sometimes you need a little bit different. Anyway, and then we also have between the Mercury and the Moon, which is our sort of emotional, sort of intuitive selves versus our communication style. So that might be something we'd want to work on here. However, we do have a trine there between our Moon and our Venus. Mm-hmm. So we all love each other emotionally.
We really do.
We really do. Wow.
And yeah, I don't know. Anyone else want to take a stab at this?
I'd love to take a stab at this. Also to prove that I've been taking this in. Yeah. Okay. So when we get called when Libby Tucker calls us the new generation of young Turks, that's our Leo sun. When we are adamant when we go out of our way, come rain or shine, to stream every Tuesday, that's our Taurus moon.
Fucking is.
And and the fact that like we always people are like, so is the point like doing video games and folklore? And we're always like, the point is new avenues of academic discussion for people who don't go to grad school. That's Libra rising.
Yeah.
Yes. Being able to like come off, do like straddle both worlds.
Yeah, to be in part of those worlds and balancing the different relationships,
balancing
the institutions,
balancing the horse memes and the actual teaching you about like 800 level folklore classes.
I'm gonna frame this.
No, Daisy, if you frame it, give me one to put on the wall. Give me one to put on my wall.
Oh, okay, I think we should. We have the image. Well,
we got it.
I'm gonna print everybody postcards with this on it.
So we have Leo here who likes.
God. I love this tiny baby so much.
I want to raise you and go live on Twitch with you every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
making
and one Thursday a month and a couple Saturdays.
All right. Should we end the show, or do you want to do a rapid fire game?
Rapid fire game. I'm in.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Let's roll it.
This is Anna. This is Anna.
What do you mean? Oh wait. Oh, sorry.
You had yours last.
Yours is last, Anna.
I forgot to do it, and I was like, I should put this in here.
Oh yeah,
Anna, I respect the like how we both are like Pisces Sun, Leo Moon. I feel like we
and water rising,
yeah. But I feel like we like get each other so well,
Yeah.
I would of anyone in folklore. In anyone in like the field of academic folklore, like you're like one of the top people that I can just like be myself around, and I feel like I get it now.
I feel like I can vibe with you so hard, and I took you to my hometown goth night when I was like.
And what did I spend 20 minutes explaining to you, and now I'm embarrassed about?
What?
At goth night in your hometown? What did I talk to you for like 20 minutes about?
I mean, we talked about a lot of things. The thing that stands out in my mind is Bruce Springsteen.
Oh well, I mean, I need to see his chart now. I'm fascinated.
But what were you thinking of?
I don't remember. I feel like there's something that I like talked way too long about at goth night. But goth night was so fun. Oh my god,
it was really fun. We gotta go to more goth nights. Anyway,
it's very Leo moon of you to still be worrying about your presentation to Anna.
What?
I said it's very Leo moon of you to be worried about your presentation to Anna like months later, Dom.
Years later.
Years later. Yeah.
No, I do be like that.
No,
that is everything you need to know about me is that Pisces sun, and that I'm always like, I don't know, like making like, God, what did Steve Cantu once said, what did he say? Dom is like, Dom is the only person I know who can platonically smolder. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pisces sun.
And your ability to like really like make like feel in like random social situations and stream and kind of like intuit that. I feel like that's true Pisces.
Joel Chappening says Bruce Springsteen is a triple Libra.
This makes sense.
What? This is that makes absolute
so
sense.
Much sense.
This is a guy who can be the biggest rock star in the band and pay or he's the biggest rock star in the world and pay all 9 members of his band an equal paycheck. That's triple Libra.
That's wild. But also like his like kind of I need to think about this more, I think, because to me, I'm like, he needs some grounding earth elements because he's so about like these kind of like working class themes and this kind of like vibe of like rustic, like rust belt, rusty.
Rust?
Maybe it's like an earth Mercury or something.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's missing something there that I'm wishing he had.
Have a special emotional. Quilts have had me on many levels. Making quilts helped me to get a sense of my own space, sense of finding my way, sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.